What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, coming back at you with another one. So I want to give y'all a breakdown, man, of Luis King Kong Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder. Though I'm rooting for Deontay Wilder to come out victorious in this fight, I think it's better for the sport of boxing. This is a 50-50 fight. Luis Ortiz footwork. Luis Ortiz is a southpaw. Luis Ortiz amateur background. Luis Ortiz jab. Luis Ortiz power. Match that along with Deontay Wilder's lack of fundamentals. Should I say, the mistakes that he makes. I don't want to say on the offensive end, but when he's defensive. Now, what I mean by that is the foot placement of Luis King Kong Ortiz. He knows how to place his feet. He knows how to cut off the ring. Although he struggled cutting off the ring against Malik Scott. He struggled heavily cutting off the ring against Malik Scott. Wasn't impressed how he was trying to cut the ring off, or his lack thereof of cutting the ring off versus Malik Scott. But the dude's fundamentals and his skills and his footwork and his amateur background, along with the mistakes that Deontay Wilder makes. Deontay Wilder has a tendency to pull straight back instead of, moving side to side head movement when somebody's coming at him, or when his firepower coming towards him, when his return fire coming at him, he has a tendency to pull straight back. That could be a huge mistake against Luis King Kong Ortiz, especially due to the fact that Luis King Kong Ortiz is fundamentally sound, and he knows how to place his feet, he knows how to place his shots, and he's very accurate with a lot of power. So that could prove to be an issue for Deontay Wilder. That could prove to be a serious issue for Deontay Wilder. Now, I noticed when Deontay Wilder had a fight when he fought with Gerald Washington, and he got frustrated to a degree in that fight. He was really frustrated in that fight. He couldn't do what he wanted to do against Gerald Washington, and it frustrated him. And his output dropped heavily. His output dropped drastically in that fight. He was almost like he was confused. He didn't know what to do. He wasn't throwing shots. He struggled to find openings. Now, the equalizer, of course, is his right hand. That's the equalizer. So if he lands the right hand, of course, hey, lights out, show's over. Hey, listen, bars closed, stick a fork in them, they done. But what I saw in that fight was, if Gerald Washington was able to sustain and deal with the power of Deontay Wilder, I think it would have been a long night on the scorecards. Not that Deontay Wilder would have got beaten up, but on the scorecards, he would have struggled. He was behind in that fight against Gerald Washington, and Gerald Washington was using his jab, he was using mobility, he was using boxing, his IQ. And Gerald Washington is not as seasoned as Luis King Kong Ortiz. And he's not a southpaw, and he doesn't pack the power. He doesn't have the experience that Luis Ortiz has. So that is going to be interesting. Now, one thing about that is Luis King Kong Ortiz doesn't have the size that Gerald Washington had. See, I think that was part of the equalizer versus for Deontay Wilder versus Gerald Washington, was the size. That's why it's so intriguing to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, because we saw him struggle with somebody his size, equal in size, although Gerald Washington didn't have the skill set or the experience to compete with Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua has that. Now, is Anthony Joshua as seasoned of a fighter as Luis King Kong Ortiz? No, he's not. But he doesn't pack. Luis Ortiz doesn't have the height. He's 6'4", but he doesn't have the reach that Gerald Washington had. He doesn't have the height. He's not looking Deontay. He's not going to be looking Deontay Wilder in his eyes. Deontay Wilder will be looking down on him. And another thing I saw was when Deontay Wilder fought Bermane Stiverne, his jab has improved. It was night and day from the Gerald Washington fight, his jab. You know, it was almost, they saw the issue with Gerald Washington and they corrected it. Now, against Bermane Stiverne, he was throwing that jab with bad intentions, and that right hand follows behind it. But now you got to be very cautious and very patient when doing so against a southpaw, because his biggest weapon is going to be his straight left. Now, the thing about that is, and I'm going to break down Deontay Wilder keys to victory, is that his Deontay Wilder's straight right. As you can see, when Manny Pacquiao fought Marquez and when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he struggled with their straight right, their counters, and that being the straight right coming right down the pipe, because as in the southpaw stance, it comes right down the pipe. But on the contrary, the straight left comes right down the pipe to an orthodox fighter. So that being said, Deontay Wilder has to be very, very careful throwing that straight right hand, because if he misses with it with somebody as seasoned and skillful and with the ring IQ of Luis King Kong Ortiz, his counter and his straight left will be coming right down the pipe, and that could prove to be a problem for Deontay Wilder. Now, what I did see was in Luis King Kong Ortiz's last fight was he looked very slow. He looked very sluggish. Now, maybe he took that opponent very lightly. It was just a touch opponent for him to get, just to get in the ring, because as we all know, he failed the drug test prior to the Wilder fight, and he was already in camp. So sometimes fighters have a tendency to peak, and they could peak. Is there such thing as peaking too early? He could peak too early, and then that could prove to be a problem in the fight. Now, we know he didn't have the fight with Wilder, but I think that he might have peaked in the gym, and then he took a layoff. Your mindset, he just wasn't there. He wasn't motivated for that fight. It was a stay busy fight. He got rid of the guy, of course, and this the fight with Deontay Wilder sitting ringside. He got rid of the guy, but the key to victory for Luis King Kong Ortiz is going to be his jab, because if Deontay Wilder can't throw his jab over Ortiz's jab and then set up the straight right, if he struggles and he gets confused and it becomes difficult, then I could see Luis Ortiz winning this fight on the scorecards. Most people are predicting a knockout, but I could predict that Luis King Kong Ortiz could definitely win on the scorecards, because he could outpoint Deontay Wilder, especially if Deontay Wilder is still confused, like when he fought Gerald Washington and his output dropped. So you could win on points. Luis King Kong could win on points. And then Luis King Kong Ortiz being the shorter, stouter fighter with the skill set. See, it's different to be the shorter, stouter fighter. We saw Deontay Wilder in the first fight with Bermane Stiverne, even though I believe that he's grown and he's learned and he's become a way better fighter since the first fight with Stiverne. Leaps and bounds. I think he's gotten better. But we saw how that fight went 12 rounds. And him not, in times in that fight, not being able to pull the trigger because he didn't see an opening and he was a bit confused. Stiverne couldn't pull the trigger himself, and that might have been a testament to feeling Deontay Wilder's power early. Now, it's yet to be seen if Luis Ortiz is going to be able to take Deontay Wilder's power. Most fighters can't take his power. And if he does land clean on Luis King Kong Ortiz, I think it's going to be, well, should I say, if he lands on King Kong Ortiz, I think it's going to be very drastic because of the stands. You know, the stands, the southpaw stands, and if he does land, I'm almost certain it's going to be. Excuse me, y'all. I'm almost certain it'll be the straight right hand, and him landing the straight right hand could be the end of the fight. It could that could be it. You know, but I think that King Kong. I think that you know, most people want to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, so we kind of look past the fundamentals and the skill set of Luis King Kong Ortiz, and plus everybody's harping on the fact that he did get popped. He did pop dirty for PEDs and steroids or whatever he got popped for, and twice in his career now. You know, so I think that alone, with the fact that everybody's looking forward to Deontay Wilder fighting Anthony Joshua, I think it could be a bit of the fans, the media, looking kind of past Luis King Kong Ortiz. Although everybody knows this is a very dangerous fight for Deontay Wilder, I think that people can be, you know, and caught up in the hype and looking to the Anthony Joshua versus Wilder fight, and forgetting just how skillful and just how powerful and just how good of a fighter Luis King Kong Ortiz is. Not to mention that you're going to get a lot of the Joshua and UK fans, not all the UK fans, but UK fans that root for Joshua, and the promoters like Eddie Hearn and so on, that's going to be pushing the narrative that Luis King Kong Ortiz is an old man, he's past his prime, you know, he has heart problems, he have health issues. You know, they're going to push that narrative. That's just to knock Deontay Wilder if he wins this fight big, and say, listen, he should have won that fight big. You know? And so the media, certain fans, you know, the promoters, certain networks, certain, you know, it's just going to push the narrative that Luis Ortiz is old, past his prime, and have health issues. So it kind of makes the decafs and the casual fans and the, you know, these people kind of look past Luis King Kong Ortiz and say, listen, Wilder's the younger, better, stronger, athletic fighter and should win this fight. When in fact, on the contrary, it's a 50-50 fight, because Luis King Kong Ortiz has a lot of experience. He has a way better amateur background. He's very skilled and technical. He has good foot placement, and he's very accurate, not to mention that he's a southpaw. So this is a very dangerous fight for Deontay Wilder. Me personally, I believe that Deontay Wilder is going to pull it off. Is it going to be an easy fight? I don't think so. Would I be in awe and shock if Luis King Kong Ortiz was to win this fight? No, I would not be, because Luis King Kong has the skill set, he has the power, he has everything it takes to beat a Deontay Wilder, especially with Deontay Wilder not being technically sound when a return fire, when he's on defense and return fire is coming his way. He gets a little sloppy. He pulls straight back, like I said. You know, his footwork gets a little sloppy. You know, he just don't avoid punches like he should. You know, sometimes he don't fight as tall as he should either. That could play into this fight, and that could play into Luis King Kong Ortiz's hands and award him the victory. So you just never know, especially with the sport of boxing, especially with heavyweights. So don't buy into the fact that Luis King Kong Ortiz is past his prime. You know, he just can't pull the trigger. You know, he has health issues. Don't buy into that narrative. You know, this is going to be a hell of a fight. This is going to be a throwback heavyweight fight. You know, it's going to be one for the ages. And may the best man win. But can Deontay Wilder just smoke Luis King Kong Ortiz? Absolutely. Can he knock him out? Could this fight turn out to be like the Bermane-Stavern fight? Absolutely. Can this fight go the other way and turn out, and can Deontay Wilder get clipped and knocked out the way he pulled straight back? You remember the Muhammad Ali fight when he fought Joe Frazier the first time? It was glorified in the movie Ali when Muhammad Ali, you probably remember that through that, you know, if you haven't seen the fight actually live, but it was glorified in the movie Ali when Muhammad Ali first came back and he fought Joe Frazier, and he was saying, here come the hook, here come the hook. Come on, legs, move, legs, get back, legs. And he leaned straight back and got clipped, boom, with the left. And that's what could happen with Deontay Wilder, because he leaned straight back, and Ortiz being a southpaw with power and very technical and can see punches coming and skillful and has a high ring IQ, you know, Wilder leaning back like that, Ortiz, believe me, he's counting on that. He's seen that, you know. Somebody as skillful as Ortiz, and as seasoned as Ortiz, trust me, he's seen. He noticed that Wilder pulled straight back. A lot of fighters notice Wilder pull straight back, but they don't have the skill set and the mindset and the whereabout and the cojones, the testicles, you know, to take the chance, because he can't, you know, he can lean straight back, you can miss it, and he could clip you with the right. So you gotta be accurate when you do that. You gotta be sure of yourself. So it's definitely possible that Luis King Kong Ortiz could clip Deontay Wilder, something like that clip I just told you about on the Ali movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the movie Ali, and check out that part when when Ali was fighting Joe Frazier in the first fight, and he just didn't have his legs, and he pulled straight back. He was like, get out the way, get out, move, legs, move. And he got clipped, boom, and dropped, boom. And that proved to be the difference in that fight, and Joe Frazier won that fight. So it's very possible that Luis King Kong Ortiz, with his footwork, his accuracy, and his ring IQ, that he could definitely pull off the I don't want to say it's an upset, because I believe it's a 50-50 fight. It's just certain fans, decafs, certain media, you know, pushing a certain narrative to say that Ortiz don't have a chance. Don't believe that narrative. He definitely have a chance to win this fight. It's definitely a 50-50 fight. So would I be surprised if Luis King Kong Ortiz pulled this fight off? No, I wouldn't. Would I be surprised if this fight ended up the way Deontay Wilder and Stavern fight ended up, the last one? No, I wouldn't be surprised at that either. You know, would I be surprised if, because of his stance, and one being in southpaw, one being orthodox, if this fight ended in the first round? No, I wouldn't be surprised at that either. You know, so it's going to be an interesting fight. It's a mega fight. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I'm excited. You guys should be excited. Don't listen to the narrative of certain fans and certain YouTube channels and certain media and certain promoters saying Luis King Kong Ortiz don't have a shot. He old, he passed his prime, and he got health issues. Don't believe that narrative. This is a 50-50 fight, and it could go either way. May the best man win. But that's all I got for y'all. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. Once you subscribe, the bell icon gonna pop up. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all the new notifications. And make sure you hit that like button, man. And make sure y'all hit the like button, man, because we be getting views, thousands of views, and 2 likes. Come on, people. Come on, people. If you don't know what the like button is, it's a thumbs up button and it's thumbs down button. Hit the thumbs up button. That's gonna hit like. Hit the thumbs down, and it means dislike. So that's all I got for y'all. Your man Blue from Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. Holla at your boy. Peace.